So let's talk about why prosecuting Donald Trump and his criminal associates is the single most important and effective thing we can do in our quest to save our democracy. Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So I think it's fair to say that there is a rising chorus for the prosecution of Donald Trump. The Boston Globe Editorial Board just did a pretty compelling 6-part series that I recommend. And here's the title of the various parts in that series. Part 1, A Treasure Map for an American Tyrant. Part 2, Who Owns the President? Part 3, A Sordid Family Affair. Part 4, Hiding the Evidence. Part 5, Rewards for Doing the President's Bidding. And Part 6, The Case for Prosecuting Donald Trump. And that part starts out, saving American democracy for the long run requires a clear condemnation of the Trump presidency. That means making clear that no one is above the law. Now, I was a prosecutor for 30 years, so it may be no surprise that I also believe that prosecuting criminal politicians for their crimes is the solution to what we experienced over the past 4 years and to what we are experiencing at this very moment in America. And now you might say, come on, Glenn, as a former career prosecutor, you probably always think the answer is prosecuting everyone, right? When you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Maybe. But here's why I contend that prosecuting Donald Trump and his criminal associates is the single most important and effective thing we can do in our quest to save our democracy. So first, let's talk about the more traditional fixes to sort of deep governmental problems and challenges. And those more traditional fixes involve the ballot box and legislation. So let's start with the ballot box. How's that working out for us? We have this unprecedented wave of state voter suppression laws, transparently designed to make it more difficult for minority communities to vote, more difficult for people of color to get to the polls. How about on the back end of the ballot box calculus after the election? Well, if a Democrat wins, I am sure we are going to continue to see endless court challenges, recounts, audits, fraudits. So the ballot box is far from the perfect solution. Important, yes, but we need a whole lot more. How about legislation? Well, just mentioned the voter suppression legislation. That has legislation trending in the wrong direction, together with legislation granting immunity to those who would mow down protesters. Or how about legislation like the horrific heartbeat law in Texas, a law that knowingly and intentionally violates Supreme Court precedent, violates the law of the land, violates women's constitutionally protected privacy interests. How about federal legislation? I don't know, protecting voting rights. How's that humming along? Senator Manchin? Senator Sinema? Legislation will not fix the problem we're experiencing. Important, yes, but we need a whole lot more. So if neither the ballot box nor legislation provides the perfect fix, right, the remedy for our democracy in distress, here's an idea. How about We prosecute criminal politicians to, one, hold them accountable for their crimes, and two, deter tomorrow's aspiring criminal politicians. This is not rocket science. This is common sense. Think about this. Remember Richard Nixon? Blatantly criminal president, transparently criminal president. After Richard Nixon resigned, President Ford told us that the way to heal the nation was to decline to prosecute Richard Nixon. The way to move forward was to just give the criminal president a pass for the crimes he committed against the United States. Decline to hold him accountable. That's how we're going to heal. Can I tell you something, folks? As a prosecutor for 30 years, I handled the cases of more victims than I can count or than I can remember. And it was my honor to help victims and their families through what was often the most difficult ordeal of their lives. You know what I never said to a single victim in 30 years? The way you're going to heal is we're going to decline to prosecute your attacker. We're going to decline to hold accountable the perpetrator in your case, the offender. That's how you're going to heal. Folks, that's the opposite of healing. That prevents for all time any hope of healing. In fact, that's the ultimate injustice. And I got to tell you, we tried it with Richard Nixon. It didn't work, and America can't suffer that again. Because justice matters. It matters. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.